What's up, Manny?
I think I'm actually kind of tired this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're wearing a Wayne Enterprises thing, and we're gonna have to talk about some Marvel. I mean, not that it really matters. It's just something that I noticed. Anyways,
Oh, that's a okay.
hello everybody. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Genre. Hey, two days in a row actually here on the Genreverse YouTube channel and Genreverse Podcast Network, available on all your favorite podcast apps such as Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and more. I'm Kyle. That's Manny. Subscribe if it's something you haven't done already. We really do appreciate each and every one of you that have. And if you have, I already said that we appreciate it. So follow us on that favorite app of yours. Leave comments, likes, dislikes, thumbs up, down, whatever you are feeling, and check out lrmonline.com every day for all entertainment news, needs, opinions, celebrity interviews, and more, as well as convention coverage, which is fun because we're going to talk about conventions a bit today as well. I wanted to start with the Marvel thing, Deadpool 3. We got our first look at the Wolverine costume. It's finally in the blue and yellow. Something that we hated Fox for the longest time for not doing costumes well. As I'm trying to bring it up here, I will say that I want to care about Deadpool 3 so much, and it is a really good looking costume, but I'm just so still annoyed with Marvel right now that it's hard for me to get excited about this. And it's also hard for me to get excited about this because we've already had like 9 freaking Wolverine films. The 3 original, the 3 Wolverine solo films, so to speak. And then two of the other ones, like First Class he was only a cameo. Days of Future Past, so 8. We've had 8 Wolverine movies. Do we really need another? I just, it looks good though, man. It really does. What do you think about the blue and yellow suit, Manny?
I really don't care for it.
What?
I really don't care for Deadpool either. So
Really?
the first movie was really good. Second movie was kind of repetitive.
Yeah, that's right. I
And now
forgot
the
you're one of
third
those.
movie is kind of like, sure, I guess we're doing this. The fact that Disney has their hands on it doesn't necessarily strike confidence right now.
Yeah, I
And
can agree with you on that.
in it, and it feels like, based on what I've seen, that we're probably doing something like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but
That's my theory.
which in this case is kills the Fox Marvel universe.
Yeah, kills
which
Foxmen.
which if they were smart, they'd kill the current phase that they were in, because it's pretty much trash. So
Oh, tell us how you really feel, Manny.
I mean, yeah, that's actually how it really feels. I don't know. It's gonna be the same kind of jokes and everything. We're just gonna get the nostalgic X-Men for it because there is no new creative ideas to pull a character forward or to do something new or different.
We mentioned remakes yesterday. I think it was, or maybe that was a conversation on AVR. I don't know, but yeah. The nostalgia thing, man.
That's all
it's a
it's
hell
gonna
of a
be,
drug.
really. Yeah.
And here's my other potential issue with it is, like we said, I thought a bit ago, hey, what if this is just Deadpool kills the Marvel universes, but like you said, it would just be Foxman, and they might kill some past MCU versions as well. You think of Deadpool becoming an agent for the TVA, and it's like, yeah, there could be some fun stuff there, or Illuminati even. But we've already seen Deadpool movies kill off characters for shock value. We've seen that once in Deadpool 2 with the X-Force. And then we've already seen Marvel toy around with cameos and killing characters off. So it's like, how well will it play? We've already seen both things done already. You know what I'm saying? And we saw Deadpool kill a bad version of himself in the second film as well. So it's like we've already made fun of how trash Fox X-Men films are, and we've already played with humorous killings, and so I hope it's good. I really do. I hope I actually go and see this one in theaters if it ever makes it that far. But yeah, the best thing I can say is the suit actually does look like a good suit. I wish, because they had actually done well with Negasonic Teenage Warhead as well. That was like her and Colossus had the best X-Men costumes in the whole Fox franchise of X films. And this again looks pretty damn decent. It makes you just shake your head at the black leather and the sad Cyclops joke in the first film. Oh, what, you wanted yellow spandex? Yeah, we did. Well, not necessarily spandex, but at least yellow and some blue. So let's hope. I mean, you're the wrong person to ask, because you were already kind of like, I don't care too much on Deadpool. But do you think what I mentioned about certain things kind of already having been done, do you think that'll matter if it is Deadpool kills the Marvel universes, or will people just eat it up regardless?
No, people are gonna eat it up like they eat up Venom and Venom. Basically, where I don't know what it is about the character that you can put on a filter and really forgive a terrible movie. Just two terrible movies actually.
I know.
Which is
we're getting Craven, that mutant.
That's the reason why
Craven.
That's the reason why we keep getting these terrible movies. I mean, nobody asked for Sony to continuously
Morbius.
Yeah, and Craven is just going to be.
He's got the blood of lion in him.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I forget that's even a thing.
Rhino mutates. Rhino goes Rhino on and can
all
get
of a sudden.
His suit on.
All of a sudden, Paul Giamatti's right. No, it doesn't seem too crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as awful. It was still pretty freaking awful, but not as this.
Yeah, it's weird, because as much as the studios are hemorrhaging money, for some reason Sony thinks they can keep making these terrible movies. But I mean, they make money, so
I'll just remind everyone, and I don't think Morbius made money, but excuse me, I'll just remind everyone that Sony, Amy Pascal, Vincent Cara, Fox, and Rothman, Sony, I think I named them all. They wanted you to get an Aunt May spy film. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Welcome to Raccoon City. Remember that. That's Sony. Like, I got it. We got The Last of Us. That was pretty good. And there was something else Sony did recently that was half decent. But don't forget all the bad guys. Like, a lot. Like Fox had a lot of bad stuff too. I mean, we're getting the Elektra in Deadpool 3, which brings the Fox Daredevil into question. I really do think it is 100% Deadpool kills the Marvel universes, and we know Mobius has been seen on set. Owen Wilson's character from Loki has been seen on set. And I think you can easily connect all the dots and see, Deadpool maybe even being hired by the TVA to help trim timelines and whatnot. Potential spoilers for the Marvels. There is allegedly a multiversal threat in that. That's all I'm going to say. I know a little bit more, but again, it would only be potential spoilers on that. But you can look that up, that there is a because we were thinking, where's where are all the multiversal things coming up in the future before Fantastic Four, which you assume technology-wise, and Deadpool, of course. Where are all the multiverse stories? Seems like the Marvels might have part of it. I don't know. I just right now, man, I still haven't seen a single episode of Secret Invasion. We said that yesterday. I hope I can warm back up to Marvel. I miss it. I really do. Anyway,
That's your fault. You should be watching that show. That's a good show.
dude, it's so hard to. It's so hard to.
It's really not that hard. You just turn on the TV and sit there and watch it.
No, look. So here's the thing. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about how hard it is for me to enjoy Star Wars these days. How hard it is for me to enjoy Marvel, and it's because of the fact that it's all connected, and it's because of the bad after bad after bad amongst both franchises the last couple of years, last few years for Star Wars, like last 5 years for Star Wars. There's been so much bad that it's hard for me to even want to see those characters, because I'm instantly reminded of all of the bad. I'm also, especially with Star Wars, going back and watching even past stuff. It's like, I know what comes next. I know how bad it gets, and I can't just disconnect it. And plus, I'm burned out from Marvel. Like I said, it doesn't matter how good of a show it is. I don't care to go back to that world, because I just got done being beaten for an entire phase with mostly garbage. And so I don't care. It could be the greatest thing in the world, but I have no affinity. I can't even bring myself to watch like a Infinity War or Endgame, the most recent MCU or most recently MCU movie I tried to watch. That's not, something new, was I tried to watch Guardians 1 before we went and saw Guardians 3, which I still have not seen. And I didn't even finish that. It was fun, but I was not engaged, and it's because it's just like, I got burned out. I got burned out because of Marvel Multiverse Mayhem here on the channel, and having to watch so many bad things. Maybe taking a break is a good thing, but I find it hard to want to. Like, even if it's a good show, then it's in this weird vacuum of phase 4, and it's just going to piss me off about how awful everything else was, and I'll be left disappointed. So why watch it? For me. That's where I'm at.
Cool. Well, guess you can stay on your lawn then and shake your fist.
How do you do it, man? Like, how do you? Because I know you were really fed up with Marvel, very similar to me, and seeing this exist in a vacuum like that. How do you do it? Teach me.
There's no real teaching. I mean, I look at every project individually, and I hope every time, whether I'm excited or I'm just kind of mellowed out by it, maybe just turned off by the entire concept of it, I hope to be surprised, and I hope to be I hope to be entertained, and then I'll go watch it. I'll turn it on depending if it's in theaters or not. I mean, hell, I'll still go watch. I'm still gonna watch Craven in theaters. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily excited by it, but you can't continue to grow and continue to really enjoy the industry without the failures, because if you continuously see only the things that you think are going to be fantastic, you're not going to be able to easily recognize the cues, the themes, the type of work that does not do well. And
there's a big difference between not seeing non-cape films and not knowing whether or not it's going to be good, and going and seeing Craven. Like there's no need to for me to waste the money, which it would be an absolute waste. There's nothing in this world. There's nothing in this world. No amount of cool action scenes, which we already saw, are hindered by garbage CGI. And don't tell me, oh, they'll fix it in post because they'll fix the CGI before release, because they don't. Very rarely, especially post pandemic, do VFX shots from trailer to finished product look any different. So there's nothing in that film, no redeeming qualities in that film for me to go waste my time and money on. And plus I wouldn't want to support Sony for making garbage. Like it's no. But I get what you're saying about like Oppenheimer. There's a lot of people that'll sleep on that because it's not a big, comic book movie. It's a long dramatic. I actually want to see Oppenheimer in theaters. I think it'll look and sound amazing on the big screen. But no way in hell would I ever even imagine going and seeing Craven, even if someone paid me to, because then I'm still wasting my time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it as a waste of time. I see it as,
it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I know, but I also spend a lot of time watching B and C list movies because. But
you can enjoy those. You won't enjoy this.
In a way, I enjoy every movie, because it's a learning opportunity to get to know the genre better as far as movie making and what works, what doesn't work, and to. You can't enjoy the sunny days without
work.
You can't enjoy the sunny days without the rainy days. I can't, because that just puts me, and this is my personal opinion, then it puts me in the bubble of someone who's not necessarily
makes you nick.
Either that or like people that just come out for certain films.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm like, I'm so excited for Barbie because it's a Barbie movie, but I'm gonna say all the bad things about Oppenheimer because it's coming out on the same day. Yeah. Instead of enjoying each film for what it is, and then also being able to take apart films for its mistakes, and then seeing, okay, this is why this isn't working, this is why this doesn't work, and then being able to kind of continuously build that knowledge to move forward into the next phase of films and next phase of films.
And if this was the first of Sony's garbage films, I could agree. You're looking at what Sony is going to do with their villains, but you've had 3 now. So again, the Craven just does not require. I get everything you're saying, and yeah, it's kind of like, without defeat, you can never truly appreciate victory. I completely get it. But when it comes to, like I said, these types of franchise films, it's a little different, especially when you're multiple in from a studio and their franchise, to where it's just like, I already know. Like Madam Web, there's nothing in this world you could do to get me in a theater seat for Madam Web. To go watch Terminator with Spider-Man, but made by Sony? Nope. I don't even need to see a trailer. Protect pregnant what's her name, and baby Peter. That's it. Like, no, I don't need it.
Yeah, and in the same vein, like I went to go to theaters to watch Gerard Butler's Kandahar, just because it was available, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch everything I can in theaters, because I feel like filmmakers make movies for the big screen.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way, because regardless how I feel about it, I'm gonna go. I support the industry as a whole, yeah. And then as I continue my journey to continuously try to be a better film critic, I need to also see the bad ones, because I'm asked. I mean, there's a lot of people at work that base their movie going opinions on what I say, and sometimes that's kind of tough, because it's like, hey, how is this movie? And it's like, well,
oh yeah, you definitely got to make sure you're seeing enough movies that you can validate.
Yeah, and like right now, I'm on a journey right now that I started to I'm going through old like Hong Kong kung fu movies
Yeah,
because
because of your
of
conversation with Brian.
yeah, and because of the way that I know that a lot of those movies have inspired so many action films uh, in this day and age. Hell, I watched Police Story, and then I recognize so many things that
You
current movies have
seen
done.
elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's specifically in the opening sequence that there's a they go through this like slum village, and I was like, I saw the exact same thing in Bad Boys too. Like that's where they got
Hmm.
this from, and also to appreciate stunts, and then the fact that they were doing those things for reals. They didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
padding and things like that. Um, so yeah, so I feel like even the bad movies, or sometimes even like a movie like Madam Web or like um a Venom or something, will have one or two actors or a producer or a director that's up and coming that you can consider that their early work, and then down the line they're doing something so much better, and you can watch that growth, and that's also a really fun part of the journey for me we didn't necessarily like because then you talk to them and you find out that maybe
Oh
they didn't
yeah.
like they didn't like the way something
Yep.
turned out, but time,
Yep.
money, VFX, this is what we can put out, and then you go
If you
like,
guys
oh, okay.
Yeah, if you guys notice, especially when it comes to Sony films, you don't hear me rag on actors in general. You do not hear me rag on any specific writer or directors. I hit at the studio, the executives, and the big names like Amy Pascal. I hit on the decision makers,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are either A, not listening when people say this is a bad idea, or B, not able to tell what a bad idea is and saying yes to bad ideas. Regardless, that's where I put my focus on, because Marvel has shown, and with individual projects, DC has shown that the right people in the right place, you know, make better movies. When you don't necessarily put it all on the studio exec, when you don't just data analyze your film until you've got the MCU standard issue film down, and then you can start replicating that for a bit. More power to you, man. Like I have no there's no rebuttal to your points
No, yeah.
of yeah.
And then
So I get it 100%.
I also understand your situation where it's a whole lot different than mine, because for
Yeah.
me to go to a theater, I just hop in my car and
Very
or
true.
go right after work, and
I have to be
we're
very
done.
judicious with time
Yeah.
and money for it.
Yeah, I the current lifestyle that the Brian and I live allows that, because
Yeah.
we don't have a younger child that we have to worry about. We just go. I mean,
Yeah.
that's currently.
And I'll be honest, I would probably be more likely to not necessarily go see Craven, but we would have definitely had seen Guardians 3 together. We would have definitely be seeing the Marvels just out of curiosity. More likely, I should say.
Yeah, no.
Definitely see them,
I'm
but
not.
yeah.
And then the other thing is, as somebody you mentioned, that was another reason why I enjoy it, is you talked about Kathleen Kennedy, and then what DC's doing, and like all these movies are part of that storyline of like an era that we'd be able to talk about later, because they're gonna be remembered for for this kind of mess, just the same way that we remember like Christopher Reeves for his bunch of Superman movies, or the Tim Burton catalog really of the late 80s, early 90s, and it's something really cool to look at and later, and I think that's also another thing that I enjoy about it, but it does it does take a lot of time. A lot of times we'll do double features, and that takes up all of our Saturday, but that's what we like to do. That's our thing, and that's my thing. And I mean, that's also a lot of times critics are just terrible, and they have like agendas sometimes, so you don't necessarily get the right rating, especially for horror. I don't understand why there's so much hatred for horror from critics, because a slasher movie, a paranormal movie, a possession movie, they each have specific tropes that you're gonna want to hit. And if you don't hit them, then you're it's not that kind of movie. But the review says this is just another slasher movie, and it's like, yeah, it is.
It
or
is.
Like, this
you
is
don't
just
get
like
it.
this is just like every other Evil Dead movie. It's like, well, the thing is, the things you are mentioning is what make it an Evil Dead movie,
and that's what people wanted to go
so,
see. Almost how somebody kind of wanted to go see a Ghostbusters movie, but didn't get to see one because it had all the right images, but it wasn't the right style, tone, effort, genre.
That was a great
it was
movie.
not it can be a good movie, I'll give you that. It is a competent film. It is well put together. It is relatively well acted and directed. It is a garbage Ghostbusters film. As far as looking at what Ghostbusters is based on the original film versus that film, no team. The comedy is a completely different level and style. The blue collar element, like nothing that made Ghostbusters, which was the story of 4 regular people in this extraordinary situation that they kind of get themselves into in the pursuit of money. It wasn't there. And so I feel validated when you're like, man, it's okay for this. These are what make it something. And if it doesn't have that, then it wouldn't be that. Thank you, Manny, for confirming Afterlife's not Ghostbusters film.
No, you're the dude who doesn't think Ghostbusters 2 is Ghostbusters. So
Ghostbusters 2 is exactly how TMNT 2 versus the first movie is. It's more for the cartoon than it was to follow up the original. That being said, I enjoy Ghostbusters 2 because I saw it as a kid, but as a grown adult, I can 100% see why my older cousins, my dad even, weren't as big of fans of Ghostbusters 2 as I was. When it hit there in the early 90s. I was a huge fan. They weren't. They were, I like the first one better. I get it now. I still like it. I still have that affinity for it. I grew up with it. But I understand that. And I understand how people were, especially if this is their first Ghostbusters. I get that this could be the start of something for them, and I'm wholeheartedly supportive of it. It just wasn't a Ghostbusters film. I mean, they even break their own technology, man. Like in the original, the boys are able to wrangle Slimer, and then in the sequel they wrangle with their own bodies, no car, nothing. They grab the Scolari brothers, bring them over to the trap and trap them. Yet a ghost is going to pull the Ecto one. Muncher, they can't just hit the brake and hold the ghost and then drive the trap underneath it. Like they messed up so much, man. All for some member berries that didn't pay off real well, and one of the worst phoned in performances Murray's ever phoned in. And let's face it, Murray phones in a lot of things these days. Yeah, man, it didn't hit for me as Ghostbusters at all. But I get what it can be for others, and I hope people get something out of it. I have the original, and I do love the sequel and old cartoon.
Well, this is a franchise now, so I mean, they're working on that second film.
Yeah, I know. I just won't. I'm not seeing it.
Oh yeah,
I don't need to. I have no. You could have done so much with this. A younger cat, and I'm not even one who was like, oh, I need the 4 original back. Well, of course you couldn't because Ramis is gone, which I also didn't like bringing Ramis Ghost back. But I always thought the idea of 1 or 2 of the older Ghostbusters in in a mentorship type thing with some college kids and maybe a college professor involved. So maybe you've got Oscar, Dana's boy from the second one. Oscar's in college. Maybe you've got Professor Egon and maybe Winston or something like that involved in it, and then you get a couple of other college kids involved. There's your new team. They start busting ghosts as like a college age franchise thing, to make money, to pay for college and stuff like that. That is what I saw as a sequel and carrying on, or a threequel and carrying on the Ghostbusters idea. When they started talking about kids, man, it was like you lose so much of what makes Ghostbusters. And what you were left with was, some names and some aesthetics. And they couldn't even play the theme song at the beginning, man. There's just so much I couldn't get behind, and because of that, I won't be seeing the sequel. More power to them. I hope it's good. But yeah, I don't need to. It didn't hit for me.
Okay.
You know what does hit for me? Conventions. So long as they are alive. Manny and I have been mentioning San Diego Comic-Con, which you guys can see here on your screen if you're watching us on YouTube. Already a bunch of articles talking about things from Hulu to Bandai, Crunchyroll, of course, Mattel, and more up at San Diego Comic-Con. I brought up Crunchyroll's schedule. They're going to have a lot of little different things going on throughout the event. Anime spreading like a disease. No, it's a good thing. Love it. Manny's going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con, but you know who's not going to San Diego Comic-Con is a whole bunch of Hall H level panels. Less actors, no writers. We already know there's no big movie trailers or anything coming. Anthony Mackie's like one of the biggest stars that's going to be there promoting Twisted Metal, the way I understand. And that's as of now. Things could change between now and then, especially if actors did go on strike. Yeah, Manny, how are you feeling here a couple of weeks before this, and what do you think it's going to be like?
I really don't know. And I mean, I'm getting calls and text messages from other friends of mine that are in the industry trying to make sense of it all, because every day it seems like it's evolving, it's changing into something different. I mean, it's I wouldn't say worse, because it's still going to have the same wonderful people that usually make up a convention, and without the people, it doesn't matter what you really have out there. It's very, very strange. I mean, Hall H, for example, is not going to have any panels on Sunday, so that place is going to be desolate on Sunday. That's and then some of the things that are going to have Hall H panels are things I
wouldn't fill it up
never
ever. Yeah. Except for if there was a big thing after that panel, then people would be just sitting in there because they don't clear Hall H.
For example, I think on Friday or Saturday, Spider-Man 2, the video game, is gonna have a panel there.
It seems more like a Ballroom 6 type deal.
It's a Ballroom 20 type of deal, if anything. Sapphire Room maybe, but not. It's not. I do not see
Ballroom 20 is the bigger ballroom.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 is the ones that are like half the size of 20. There's like 2 6s, right? A and B or something like that.
Something like
Anyways, that. Yeah. Ballroom 20 is what I meant.
It's not. Hall H is not going to be filled this year. There's not going to be anybody camping out for any of these things. It's going to make for a much more crowded floor. I
people looking for things to do.
Looking for things to do, because I mean, for some people, part of that experience was waiting in line
Hall H,
for Hall H, and now you don't have
some people only attend Hall H.
I'm interested as to if some of the industry won't show up anymore, and I do mean press industry.
Mm-hmm.
Because what are you covering, really? Some of the stuff we're covering, we're doing a lot of booth reviews and things like that. We're doing some of the activations. as far as talent goes, they're offering us like some different outlets or studios are offering us like visual supervisors and very strange
Yeah,
people to
technical
bring
stuff.
to conventions. And I mean, as of yesterday, it's pretty much, it's not set in stone, but it's basically a done deal that the actors are striking. And the thing is, they had a conference call with publicists regarding the what can their clients do and cannot do
Yeah, for like
coming in the near
conventions
futures, everything in general, social
Yeah,
media,
okay, got it.
conventions,
Yeah.
appearances, signing, and anything like that. What can and can't they do? Turns out conventions is not one of the things they can do. Well, they're allowed to show up if they wanted to, but they are highly discouraged to. But they cannot talk about current projects that they're working on, or to promote certain TV shows or movies.
Right.
So basically, they might as well not be there.
Yeah.
And
that means Mackie might not end up being there.
And yeah, no, I don't think most of those people, that it was interesting to see those things come out yesterday, because I was like, yeah, there's no way. They're not allowed to do panels either, so it's not like they could just show up to do panels, because that's literally the same thing. And
they can do photo shoots as long as it's not for the current project, just the Anthony Mackie photo shoot. They could do that.
Like, for example, Jamie Lee Curtis will still probably be there because she's promoting her comic book with Titan Comics. That's a whole different thing.
That's a completely different thing.
So if anything, this show is going to be really taken back over by the comics, which is interesting, which is nice. And it's giving a little bit better, it's a little better light for comic books in general, and a little better light for a couple of video games and anime as well. Viz Media will be there, of course, and so will Crunchyroll, which I'm doing their fitness challenge on Saturday morning, which will be fun. Yeah, we're still gonna enjoy ourselves for very different reasons. Number one, we're gonna be in San Diego, and it's beautiful out there this time of year. We're gonna have a lot of friends out there. It's still a fun show. It just won't have that glitz, that glamour that it usually has, and it'll be very telling to see how the show does in the next coming few years, because we saw what the pandemic did to it, and it came back yet last year, kind of, not as big as it was before, but you still had all your activations and everything. This year we don't have the Netflixes, you don't have any of that, and I wonder if this will be a precursor to kind of almost, I hate to say it, man, but kind of like the other convention that was so big for so many years, E3, and now the next year they're just like, we're not doing it. We don't need to.
I think one this year, everyone already had their tickets. You know what I'm saying? So you might see those that have that decided it's not worth the hotel and plane ticket, and so the ticket remains sold, of course, because you can't do refunds. Maybe they sell it, third party or whatnot, but the tickets have already sold. It's going to be interesting to see how San Diego discusses attendance. Will they discuss simple ticket sales, because we already know that it did well, or will they talk about entry and exit, turnstiles, and do they do tapping in and out like digitally? Okay, so there's a good way for them to track that. I'm curious.
Theirs aren't as sophisticated to be able to track the in and outs. It's just it just makes a beeping noise. I honestly, And
you're still tapping in and out of the building, right?
yeah, but anime expos are a whole lot more sophisticated than
Yeah.
than than the Comic Cons.
What my point being is, I wonder how they're gonna talk about attendance this year. What I think will happen is conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, especially, maybe New York to a lesser extent. You start thinking about that one in Chicago. I forget what it's called. But I think you see those scale back down. I think you see San Diego maybe going back to where it all fits in the convention center again, where you don't need the hotel rooms to host gaming, because you've got a ballroom open upstairs for gaming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think seeing it go to kind of those pre MCU days, where the biggest things were TV studios. You remember when Sci-Fi used to have a big booth at Comic-Con? The Sci-Fi Channel, guys, was one of the big booths, like big booths at San Diego Comic-Con. I think you see a return to that, a spread to more genres and mediums, including anime as a medium, filled with multiple genres, animation in general as a medium. I'm doing a call back to our panel at AX. Gaming more, and that being tabletop and video gaming, to include mobile, console, and PC. You might even see elements of E3 find its way into something like San Diego, to where San Diego Comic-Con is Comic-Con plus, with a focus on traditional Comic-Con things, cosplay, the comics, artists alley, writers and things like that, and the exhibit hall with all the figures and stuff, comic books, plus, like I said, anime and gaming. I think some of your others, I don't know how they cope with people being like, it's not worth shipping as much if it's not the big ones. You know, the crowd isn't large enough for every GalaxyCon out there. The crowd's not large enough for different little fan expo type things and in regional areas. I don't know what happens to them, because that's why Sideshow pulled out. Basically, it was just not financially worth it. They could just do some digital stuff and still sell you a bunch of crap. You know, I think I heard they might still do New York because they're like East Coast based. I might be wrong on that, so don't quote me, but that makes sense, and that makes me wonder about, you know, all the individual vendors that feed smaller conventions. But I do think San Diego will survive for a while.
No, it will
by
continue
going to its
to survive.
roots.
It will
Yeah.
continue to survive, yeah.
And
But
shrinking.
I just wonder how much, even like us, for example, and then other outlets are willing to spend
Money to cover it.
Like,
Yeah.
like I'll be honest, if we didn't have everything set up, and I know this is the same case for a lot of outlets and a lot of friends of mine, they're not even going. They're maybe sending one or two people, and it's like that one like relaunch con that they had in on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Where they were like scrambling for attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to send. It's not going to have as much coverage. It's not going to have, because honestly, it's not the buzz for that weekend. Yeah, it'll trend, but
it's always about the trailers and reveals, and without that,
it won't have any of those things. And
it's good for people that do YouTube, because people love floor videos and videos and stuff with cosplayers and stuff like that. But for traditional media and print, if you will, digital print, if you will, written articles and stuff, San Diego is going to be kind of a lull.
I even had one of my buddies was telling me, they're probably not even going to take any of their expensive cameras. They're gonna go phones, small tripods, and gimbals, if that. Because what exactly are you? Who, it's not like you're gonna have special interviews, and you need to make sure that they're crisp and pristine. This is just gonna be really almost a ton of everyone doing a ton of vlogs of their trip to San Diego and how different it is. And unfortunately, that's gonna be the theme of the year. It's not gonna be the Hall H panel. It's gonna be how different it is because they're missing XYZ.
Yeah. And I bet you're right about that crowd on the floor too. And people are going to complain about that. It's going to shrink.
Well, they always do. They always do complain. They already complained that they took the carpet out, and I honestly didn't even.
They took the carpet out.
I didn't even notice that they had taken the carpet off. And then James was like, "Yeah, you could tell the difference." I was like, I didn't even notice. There's no carpet. So yeah, it'll be. I have friends who are leaving on Saturday because they're like, why are we going to be here? Because our schedules right now are pretty much are pretty chunky and filled Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, I don't really have anything yet. Not
Wednesday with a bunch of floor stuff for preview night, huh?
Yeah, a lot of preview stuff. Then Thursday, I have a screening. I do have a couple of press rooms with animation, actually, and more floor stuff. It's gonna be a way different show, and it's kind of annoying because if I would, like, for example, if I would have known that sooner, maybe I don't take as many days off of work to go, because I can use that vacation time later to go to
elsewhere,
to go do something else. So that's that is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So we'll see, because I mean, in a week it'll be my last day before we take off early in the morning.
I think for the future of a lot of these conventions, as we begin to wrap things up, I do think Anime Expo might find itself being the big king for a bit. I think you might even see it expand the way San Diego kind of did with the MCU. I think AX is going to see a lot more company corporate support. My only question is, does it become too much for some, the way San Diego had for some? I don't know. I do know you guys can find all sorts of stories from the upcoming convention, as well as past conventions and future conventions, here on LRMonline.com, as I'm fumbling around clicking for things to show you guys, as well as celebrity interviews from the LRM YouTube channel, the podcasts and more. All the podcasts go up on your favorite podcast apps like D-COG, Breaking Geek Radio, Cantina, Anime Versal whenever we are reviewing anime, and of course all the videos, including anime reactions and trailer reactions and more, here on the Genreverse YouTube channel. Manny, anything else today?
No.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.